In this betting tip tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you an amazing strategy and tips you need to be using at any given time to avoid some mistakes when it comes to match predictions. And using this tip will boost your winning and take you ahead of others. In fact, the reason why I'm doing this tutorial is because of the question I've been receiving asking on how we can actually minimize when it comes to minimize your mistake and take your winning to the next level. And of course, I'm trying to reply to this particular message or question that was sent to us so that you all could benefit from it. And to those of you having any other question you would like us to make a video to respond to it, then you want to make sure to leave your comment below to ask us the question that you have doubt about it, so that we can do a video tutorial for you and everyone else could benefit. So without wasting time, let's dive directly in this strategy. But before we proceed, I would like to let you know that first, I actually had a conversation with some friends, and we're just like having a chat. And I actually posed a question to really verify from them what are some of the type of decision they used to make when it comes to making some picks to include in slips. In fact, I did not make them to know or understand that I'm actually a good pick predictor when it comes to soccer match pick. But of course, I really want to find out some interest when I'm actually grouped with some categories of people. And this actually happened when we were having a game, we were watching some match. And what came to my notice was the fact that a lot of people in that particular sitting had actually placed some bets, and they were actually so willing for a particular event to occur as a win. And to my notice, I saw some of them like saying, I don't know what has really happened. I was really expecting this. And chat, when you are always having a game, you are watching a particular game that is running, and you have actually made some picks in your sleep and expecting for it to actually go into good play. And what I realized, I tried to ask a question, like a friend was just sitting beside me. I tried to interview some group of them, and we're just watching the match, and the match was going on. When I asked the question, but I don't know how many games have you input in that slip and how are you expecting it to end? And there were a lot of them. Why some of them responded that I have about 12 games in my list, and 5 is already running very well, but I don't know how the others are going to run. And this conversation keep going on. So what happened is I used a kind of play, like we're just having a chat, a friendly conversation. I really wanted to check the slips to see what kind of game they have involved in that particular slip ticket. And what happened, I managed to check 4 of these different slips because they were sitting so many number of them. And I took one of their phone, and I tried to look on the ticket. What I saw was not what I expected. In a slip, one of them had a slip that have 22 events. It was really amazing. I didn't expect 22 games to be on a single slip. It was really much. And what caught my interest on this list of games that were so much on it was just a kind of mix. I saw a kind of over 2.5 goal, over 3.5 goal, 6.7 corner kick, 9 corner kicks, both team to score. First half, over 2 goals in the first half, over 3 goals in the first half. Asian handicap, it was a really mix of games. And I realized that a lot of people are making picks. They just make some picks and include in their slip with so many mix. So what I realized is the fact that they are making this pick. They are not, expert on some particular market. That is why in this tutorial, I'm doing this so that I want to give you this tip that when it comes to match prediction, first tip number 1, because I said I checked some couple of tickets, 4 of them, I tried to check the ticket. One of it, 22 games in a single slip with a mixed event, goal probability, handicap games, over 2.5 goal, corner kicks, a lot of them were mixed. I checked the second one, it almost have the same, but not much games as up to 22. I saw 12, in the next one, 8, and so on. But the mix was what caught my interest. And now the tip I want to share with you for this particular tutorial is that this is the tip, I've just put it here, that when it comes to match prediction strategy and finding the best pick to boost and maximize your win, one thing you must take into consideration is to make sure that you don't pick different mix of games. You must make sure that you only specialize in a given market. Just choose a few markets and specialize on it. Now, for me to really understand what kind of market that you are really interested in, because first of it is the interest. What interest do you have when it comes to match predictions? Do you have interest of goals or the goal market? In other words, goal market. Are you somebody that is interested but with straight win? Are you somebody that is interested but on corner kicks? Are you somebody that is interested in handicap or Asian handicap? Are you a person that is interested in first half games? You need to know what interest do you have based on the odd probability you are looking at on it. So this is the first question I really want to ask you. If you could answer this question properly, then I can understand what market you are really interested in it. Because if you ask me that same question, I'm going to tell you that I'm interested in 3 main markets, and that is where my specialty is in it. My specialty is in the corner kick market, in the goal market, and in the straight win market. That is where my specialty is, and also in the first half goal. That is where I've specialized. And now, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to this, you want to make sure that you just pick a few. When it comes to this particular aspect, don't just stop trying to bet on everything. Stop trying to bet on everything. Like you want to go for goal market, you want to go for corner kick market, you want to go for Asian handicap market, you want to choose everything. This is one of the mistakes I realized that they are making. And what is even more that caught my interest was the fact that they never use any data analysis to try to see how they can go in depth to see details of this particular event they have included in their slip to decide on what to go for. That was the second thing I actually figured it out. Because when I tried to ask the second question, how did you manage to get all of these games that you have up to 22 events inside of this slip? You know, the response were so amazing. The first response was the fact that the guy told me, you know, not only a single one of them, because we're much in that place, most of their response were, I just know it by head. You know, like when this team is playing the other one, I just know that this is going to occur. That was some of their answer they gave to me. And another responded that I went ahead to use, there are some sites I used to follow. I just go and check. And when the site actually pick, and I know that that site I've picked because I have some, you know, I trust, and I know that the picks that they make, I will just look and just select my own and just re-edit from my own, you know, for my own gut, you know, using my own mind. I will just know that I can just do like this. For example, if they give me 10.5 corner, I will just go and just take 9 corners or 8 corners to make it, you know. That's how they try to respond to me. Now, 2 things came to me, to my mind. And the first thing was the fact that first, they are making their decision without using any data analysis. Second is the fact that they just go and make picks from any kind of site and just re-edit by just, you know, changing some things. If it is 10 corners, they will just put 8. If it is 15 corner, they will put 10, you know, like this, and both team to score. So it was really, really amazing. And I come to realize that a lot of people are making this mistake. That is why I'm doing this video, to tell you that you should not make this kind of mistake. And I will share with you exactly how you can avoid this mistake and exactly the things you need to look at when it comes to finding your picks to include in your slip. I know that this is, you want to really know some of the things you need to do, and I'm going to share it with you. And also, I'll be sharing some top-notch tutorials. I will recommend some video for you to watch so that you go to this video and watch what we have already created in few days past. Watch it and learn some of the top tips you need to stand ahead of others to see how you can improve your match pick predictions and boost your winning rate. So first, the first tip I want to give you is that make sure that before you want to pick any game to include in slips, use data analytic, that is data analytics, and make sure that you use informed choices by using this data, checking the form of the team, the most recent event they have had, top player statistics, and all of these things, and put into consideration all of this before including in your slip. Second, do not make mix of market. Don't go and look first half and see. One of the things that even amazed me the most is correct score. Somebody will take a list and put 5 games in it, and all of them are correct score, correct score, correct score. I don't know how they managed to get this correct score, but I could tell you that it is not a good way to find games. They just went online, and some of them even go to even see how they can even buy correct score games, which is very amazing. This is really, I don't know, but correct score, even if no matter how much you know how to predicting correct score about 5, the same straight correct score, you are seeing somebody 3-1, 2-0, 1-0, 0-0 correct score, is amazing. In fact, the odds are really high. I will see a slip having 3,000 odds. I will see a slip having 500 odds to 700 odds. It really amazes me. I don't know how managed they actually go to get this correct score. Mixing it is really, really funny, Picking 3,000 odds in a slip is really amazing. How managed are you going to group 3,000 odds in a slip? Taking correct score, about 5 correct score, correct score have very big odds. 10 odds, 12 odds, and multiplying it like that, you already have like 1,200 odds already in 5 games. Then they use some Asian handicap and some over goals and corner kick and just mix in the thing. And you want to see it's already 3,000 to 5,000 odds. It's really amazing. How managed you want to win this kind of game? I don't really know how. And most of it, what I've realized is the fact that they put this like this and they just put, they really, it's not that they are putting small amount. They are really putting an amount that even you yourself may doubt. They used to go and put maybe 50 in dollar, $25. It's big because they want to make, you see the amount at the end as total is very, very big. In a way that even make you even wonder how this is even going to be, and that is why in this tutorial, I want to share with you exactly some of the tips you need to take into consideration and how to find games and also how to analyze some games when it comes to match predictions to boost your winning rate, and sharing with you some of the tutorials you need to watch to improve your skill when it comes to match predictions. First, the next tip I want to share with you is using some data analytical site. I'll be using 2 in this tutorial. One of it is making sure that you use a site like, for example, SofaScore or FlashScore. But first, let's look at my screen. Let me share with you some simple trick you can use to improve your skill when it comes to match prediction. Let's dive into my PC. Now, assuming that you have found some picks and actually, like in the Spain La Liga, I want to use the game Barcelona against Girona. This game has not yet played. It is going to play 1 day ahead of time, so I want to use this as an example. If you look at this game, first thing you want to do is to make sure that you look some data analytic. But there is a trick I would like to share with you here. And what I want to share with you is once you have game like this, the first thing you want to do, so this site that I'm using is FlashScore. I'm going to be using 2 of it here. I'm going to be using FlashScore and I'm going to be using SofaScore. So using the FlashScore, what I want to do or site, I want to come here to this area that says H2H and click on it directly. First, what will happen is, since the home Barcelona is having game against Girona, I will come to Barcelona and click on it directly. Now, what will happen is, I want to look the most recent game they have just had. For example, Barcelona against Real Sociedad, against Getafe, against Valencia, against Como. What I want to do is, now, in the matches that they have had a lot of goals that they have scored, like 3 goals, as you can see here, 6 goals and 5 goals. What I want to do is to know which of the players that caused this goal to occur. And if I could know or detect the player that have caused this goal to occur, then I must make sure that in the most recent game that they want to have now with this opponent, those particular players must also be found. Because when those players are found in the lineup, then it means that there will be the possible chance also of goals to occur. Using the fact that I want to go for goal market, because you remember I said that you must ask yourself the question, which market are you interested in? And I've said that I'm a specialist in the goal market, in the corner kick market, and in the straight win market, and in the first half goal market. I've just specialized in this aspect. And first, what I want to do is, let's assume that we are looking at Barcelona and Valencia. 6 goals were scored. What you want to do is to click on this game itself that has already played and check the players that have actually that had that goals that were scored. Okay, once you click on that, you see it is going to load, and you want to make sure that you check and verify the players that were present. Once this load, you are going to see the 6-0 just as you have seen. But what you want to use here is to come to this area that says the lineup of this particular event. Click on the lineup. And once you click on the lineup, they will give you the lineup, that is the players that were present and the players that actually scored. We are looking at Barcelona. We want to look at what happened. What happened is, in this event, you are going to see that Lopez was found and he scored 2 goals, as you can see here. Then you're going to see, for example, we have Lopez. Sometimes not all of the stats shows here. Lopez was there. 2 goals were scored by Lopez. And let's look again. And we are going to see that 2 goals scored by Lopez. Okay, that is amazing. You already have in mind that goals were scored here. Once you have noticed that the player that are actually having goal scoring capacity are found here, then you have to check in the lineup of the most recent event. Now, another thing you need to check is the players that have rating that is above 7. Any player with rating above 7, especially at the level of the forwarder, as you can see here, and also the strikers that are here, then note that it is good. Now, for example, we have Rashford that is here. His rating is 7.7. It is good. That is why it is green. You have this one here, 7.2. Pedri, 7.6. Casado, 7.3. Now, you need to keep these players inside of your mind to know exactly the influential player at the forwarder level that could cause occurrences of goal, since we want to look at the goal market at this level. Once you have done that in the lineup, you now have an idea of what could happen if this were the player causing goals to occur. Move again 1 step behind and check the next. Now, what I want to do is to check the next again and see what were the result in the most recent head-to-head with another opponent. This time, I want to look with Getafe. I will repeat the same step to make sure that I check the lineup to see again the influential player that causes goal to occur. You want to repeat this same step for about 3 most recent games they have had, and keep to notice the influential players in that most 3 games they have just recently had, especially when they played at home. Now, at this level now, at home, this time, you're going to see that Torres was here, and Torres scored 2 goals. You're going to see Osmo is here, scoring another goal. And again, we have Pedri with a high rating. And now we have 6.9, almost 7, which is still a good rating. Now, I'll use this now, repeat the same step for the next one to make at least 3 of these, because I said that you must use at least 3 most recent games they just had in the games played, and check the players that causes goal to occur, and also the high rating players, and check now the most recent that they have, and now try to compare in terms of the most recent lineup. We have another, which is another most recent here against Real Sociedad. Let's look at the players that influence the goals here. I'll repeat again to the lineup level, and this time I will check what happened and the player that causes the goal to occur. You're going to see it was Lewandowski. Its rating here was 7.2, scoring the goals in this event. Now, you already have in mind the key player, based on the most 3 events we have looked at, were Lewandowski, Rashford, Pedri, and we already know in mind. So what we want to do now is to come back to this most recent event that they now want to have, which of course has not yet played. Because since we are going to be predicting games that have not yet played, we must first of all check the stats they just had in the last 3 games, most recent that they have had, and check the influential player that causes goal to occur, as well as making them to win. This time, Barcelona and Girino. Now, what you want to do as the next step, since you already know about Barcelona, and if they're going to score goals here, then you have to make sure you check for the players in the lineup of this most recent game, Barcelona and Girona. And to do that, for this particular one here, you're going to see that in this list of menus that are here, we don't have lineup here. That is why we are going to use another app or site, which is going to be SofaScore. So I'll be using SofaScore to see how I want to finish with that. So what I want to do now is to come to SofaScore, but this time I will make sure that I use the date that the game is actually running. You want to use the date. If you look here, the date for this game is on the 18th. On 10, you must make sure that the date that you want to look those games to check the lineup must correspond. 18:10. You must use this calendar and find the date and make sure that you highlight it for the game to show based on that date. And once you are sure that it is the date, then of course you want to make sure now that you close it and now go directly to it. We are actually in the La Liga of Spain. This is it here, Barcelona and Girona. Just click on the game directly. Click on it direct. And if you click on it, you are going to see it display here. Let's go and do that. Barcelona and Girona. Just click on it like this directly. And if you click, it is going to load on this right-hand side for you to easily see the stat. And you easily see lineup for you to check. Let's do that again. I will click again on it for it to load. Let me click again on it and wait for it to load. And there is it here. Okay, we have it here. It has actually loaded on a new screen. So let's now try to check the stats and the lineup, everything in place, and try to figure that out. Now it has loaded. So our interest is to look for the lineup which we want to look at. But here you're going to see that they have given just 3. So I'll move again one step behind to make sure that I come back to the small screen where they'll be able to display it to me directly on the right hand side for me to easily see the lineup. Sometimes you are not going to see lineup if you try to open like this. So if you don't see lineup, just move one step behind and come back to the area where we're having the screen and the games were found on this other end of the site. If you do that, you can still click on it directly like this so that it should just show from the right hand side for you to easily see the lineup, for you to easily find that out. So let's do that. You can see this is the lineup here. If you click on the game again, you're going to see a lineup that will show here. You remember, I've said that if you click on it and you don't see the lineup, come one step behind or just click again on the game. You'll be able to easily find the lineup button here and you can easily now check the stats. Let's wait for it to load and we try to check based on the players we have seen. Now you can see the lineup have now shown to us and you can now see everything has been shown. Sometimes you need to wait for it to load complete and you are going to see the lineup easily. You can see lineup, statistics, standing, and head-to-head. Now the lineup have been given to us. What we want to do now is to scroll now like this and easily check now the players which we're looking for. You remember again in our mind, we have Rashford, and in this game you can see this is Rashford here, which means that it is already a good sign. We have El Lopez. You remember Lopez was having a goal in the last game they had. You can see Yamal. Yamal is here. You can see Pedri. In other words, our lineup of the players causing goal to occur are here. You can see Lopez, Yamal. You can see Pedri. And of course, this lineup that are here give us the info. And you can also see Rashford. Info is telling us that there is going to be probable chance of goals here. You can see Rashford here. You can even see the rating to also make sure that you keep in mind that rating also matters. You can see 7.3. These are forwarders that are here. You can see 8.03 to tell you that Yamal even stand a higher chance of causing goals as well. Because the rating also matter. You can see 8.03, 7.33. So you want to concentrate on the lineup, especially for the strikers and also the forwarders that are on this line. So all of them have good rating. You can see 7.33, 7.40, 7.76, and 8.03, meaning that this is going to cause goal to occur. Now with these stats and data analysis, you now understand that there will be probable chance of goals to occur here. That has been checked. Come again one step behind and look again at this level. Now, checking on that, you have an idea of goal probability that goals is going to occur. But you don't need to conclude here. You must make sure that you check the defensive line of its opponent that is going to play, because now you know that goal will occur caused by the home team, Barcelona. But you don't need to just go ahead to jump into conclusion, because you don't yet know the defensive line of the away team, which means that you must check the defense of the away by looking at the number of matches they have played and divided by the number of goals they have conceded. And once you do that, you're going to know the average defensive power. In other words, what I'm trying to explain is that if the match based on the recent 5 games they have just had at away, you use the number of goals they have conceded and divided by the number of games played, then you are going to know the average goal concede. If the goal conceded rate is very defensive, then even though the home team will find it good to score, but goal probability will be difficult because the away will defend very much. But if the defense of the away is weak, then there will be probable chance for the home to score and even looking at a straight win. So let's check now the defensive line, how to do it and to calculate to know if the home will cause goal or to win. Let's look at the defensive power. So what you want to do now is to come to the standing level and click on standing. Now what you want to do is to only check the standings of the away team, since you have already known that the favorite was already the home. And you can easily know the favorite by looking at the odds. You remember the odd range inside of the SofaScore we looked at. The odd range for Barcelona was 1.18. And this tells us that it is already the favorite. Favorite means that you need to be checking its opponent in response to the favorite. And even here, the favorite here based on the odd was also showing that Barcelona is the favorite. So if the favorite is the Barcelona, always check the non-favorite defense. Because if the non-favorite defense prove that they are weak in defense, then the favorite will be having the win chance, and whereas goal probability. So what you want to do is to just make sure that you come on the standing, then come on the form area, and now click on the away. Since the non-favorite is at away, then tap at away like this and allow it to load. Then check it like this by coming to Girino as an example here. You can see they have played 3 games at away. They have conceded 7. Take 7 and divide by 3. 7 divided by 3 is about 2.2 to 2.3. In other words, they concede 2.2 to 2.3, meaning that their defense is not good. And since the home have very great offense in where we have looked at the lineup player, you can also check the offense of the home by making sure that you come to home like this, for example. If you come to home, also check its offense. If they are good, you can see 3 matches played, 3 win, 11 and concede 1. It have a great defense and great offense. This offense will be able to break the defense of Girino. So now you can have an idea of what we are trying to say. Now, once you have calculated that, you already know that the defensive line of the away is not good. Offense of the home is good. Major players are found in the lineup. You now have an idea of what you can go for. You now have an idea of what you can actually pick in terms of this prediction. And you have to repeat this same step by step to find the best games to include in slips, not making that kind of mistake that I share with you in what I was explaining, where people put 22 events and mixing the games all together. And now there are some recommended tutorials I would like you to watch based on some of the questions we have received. We cannot answer all the questions here, but we'll come with the next tutorial to answer most of them. But to get most of the answer, then there are some tutorials I would like you to watch. Let me try to recommend them to you, and I'll also include the link of those tutorial videos below this video so that you can go directly and watch to learn some of the top tricks you need to be using. Let's proceed to those tutorials we are talking about. The first tutorial I'm recommending to you to watch is this one here, 2 smartest betting tips strategy for amazing winning. You want to make sure that you watch this. We just released this few days ago. You want to watch it to the end to learn exactly some of the smartest tips and strategy you need to be using. Then the next, I will put the link of this below this video. Then the next tutorial I would like you to watch to actually learn some skills is this particular one here. 4 secret soccer betting tips to make amazing winning. You want to make sure that you also watch this tutorial. I will put the link below this video. And finally, what I want you to watch is also this one here. 5 hidden SofaScore feature to make more win bet. You need to watch this as I've shared right now. Then also, as a quick reminder, you need to know that we are also providing top hand pick match predictions to members only. If you join our membership, you are not going to go through all of this work. We'll just make sure that we give you all these hand-pick events and you easily find your picks 2 to 5 or even 10 odds to boost your winning without all of this work done. We do all the work for you and give you. So once you join our membership, you have access to these features. So you want to make sure you go ahead to join membership level 2 Pro or level 3 Master to have access to all of these features to take your winning to the next level. Once you join membership, you want to go to the Home tab, and from the Home tab section, you'll be able to see all our game which we keep updating on a daily basis, and you can easily make your picks from it to include in your sleep to maximize and boost your win. For we have already checked all the stats and analytics before giving to you. So see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.